Well folks, in what's been a very big week for dinosaur news, the updates do not stop coming. We've got the brand new developer diary for Prehistoric Kingdom for August 2024, telling us what's in the future of the game and also what's coming in the next update via the reveal, fully this time, of a brand new dinosaur. Let's get started. Trying a new format for this video in terms of our PK stuff, kind of inspired by the campfire chat from Diablo 4 the other day, I won't lie. But hopefully it should make the information a lot easier to parse for you folks at home. Do let me know what you think in the comment section down below. So, state of development, these are things being worked on, generally speaking, throughout the game at the moment. We've got improvements to the camera panning system, just making it easier to pan your camera across and zoom in and stuff, just more camera control, because people have been struggling with that a little bit in the game at the moment. Better onboarding, i.e. better tutorials, objectives and notifications. This objective system is being built with quests in mind for the long term. Now I'm assuming this is kind of like Jurassic World Evolution in particular, where your obnoxious people from the free groups would pop up and offer you a mission that you would then go do and you would get a reward for that. And then the long-term plan for this is to have specific characters you interact with. Nigel Marvin could well be one of them, who knows? But either way, there will be characters that will pop up throughout the game, throughout your playthrough, throughout your campaign, and offer you various missions. And then we've got a little graphic there to show how they're making the onboarding a little bit better at the moment, just with a new graphic that will highlight where you're going to click on UI to progress. And what is coming in Update 12? Well, we already know the Apatosaurus and the Brontosaurus are going to be part of the new dinosaur roster, but now we have full species spotlights for those dinosaurs. I'm going to play both of those for you right now.
The name Apatosaurus means deceptive lizard, and I can't think of a more fitting moniker for a dinosaur with such a complicated history. For the longest time, nobody knew what the head of Apatosaurus looked like. Paleontologists debated over whether it should look more like a Diplodocus or a Camarasaurus, until its real skull was confirmed in 1978. Now that's turning heads. That sound you're hearing isn't thunder, it's the earth-shaking stomp of a Brontosaurus. These dinosaurs have been shaking the big screen for over 100 years, starting with one of the first ever animated films, Gertie the Dinosaur. Gertie was never the best behaved dinosaur, so hopefully we won't have as much trouble trying to keep this Brontosaurus in line.
Not only do we have our Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus, both of them looking spectacular, really good to have more gigantic, large sauropods roaming around our parks, giving us a little bit more verticality and a little bit more variety in our sauropods, but we have another new species in the Ankylosaurus. Now we saw the concept art for this last time around, but now we've got full, beautiful 3D models and images. Let's check it out. So this is our Ankylosaurus magnaventris. Of course, as you would expect, it is the modern interpretation of the Ankylosaurus. What you'll notice is that we don't have those big, bulky armor plates you would see on, say, the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Ankylosaurus. Instead, the armor is much more built into the body shape itself. You can see we've still got those large plates, those large osteodermic plates going around there, providing some bony defense. And then it splits around halfway just before the hind limbs and kind of becomes these more jutting out osteoderms before getting to that big smashing club at the back. So we've got an actual in-game screenshot here of our Ankylosaurus very happily trawling its way through a little swamp. You can see lovely levels of details here. We've got the cracks and striations across those osteoderms, the wrinkles underneath the neck and the folds in the skin and the musculature, especially in the kneecaps on the hind limbs. They are looking, those are some beautiful looking kneecaps right there. And then of course the skull detail as well. The Ankylosaurus has a very strange head shape, the way it kind of ducks and curves around there at the front into this small little beak there at the bottom front of the, well, in the mouth region, as you would expect for a beak, really. A very strange looking dinosaur, the modern Ankylosaurus, but also an immensely popular one. You know, we get a lot of new dinosaurs in the game, but Ankylosaurus is one of those big, heavy hitters, and will go along with Scelidosaurus in our Thyroporian group. I think I've pronounced that completely incorrectly, but either way, it's along with our Scelidosaurus, but it should be substantially bigger. This is going to be our biggest one in the game so far. I really want to get a good sense for this thing's scale. Looks fantastic. Really excited to see the other skins as well. This is one of the more chill skins, I would assume. You know, it's basically green all over, but there are some beautiful shades in there. Lots of variety in the green. It's a very forest appropriate kind of skin, and we've got that beautiful detailed counter shading on the underside of the body as well. But there are more changes coming to update 12, including some much needed guest visibility changes. So there's a few different ways this has been improved. Guests will now crowd around the best viewing spots. So if there's one part of your fence which particularly has a great view of the dinosaurs, your guests will now instinctively walk and crowd around that particular area, which should help you, you know, place your decorations, place your donation bins in particular in the most ideal spots around your exhibits. Guests will be able to view animals from further away, which means they won't have to stand right up against the fence. They could view them from further back along the path. They could also view them from elevation. You can build towers, you could build cliffs, like little watch point kind of things. Guests will now be able to see your dinosaurs without pressing their face against the glass like an obnoxious child. And it will be easier to block their view and sort of control where your guests see the dinosaurs with buildings, decorations, etc, etc, letting you kind of focus your guests in on specific sight points, which again is fantastic, not only for real world zoo realism, but also for placing donation bins and stuff like that. And we've got a couple of images for this stuff, so you can see an image there of our guests, and you can see if you look in that man, don't look inside him, that would be weird, but if you look at the blue shirted man towards the middle, he's turning and he's looking at our dinosaur, at our Tyrannosaurus I believe that is, but he's not up against the glass, he's watching it as he walks past. There's a guy in the background who's having the time of his life pointing and emoting. And as you can see, people are nicely spread out. It looks like the entire exhibit with this big glass wall is a decent viewing area. And then we've got a sky view image of that exact same exhibit and same sort of deal. So you can just see how our guests are sort of spreading around the area. The images don't show us too much, but they're pretty. So, you know, that's something. Why not? Finally, we also have some staff improvements on the way. Staff will be more efficient. They'll be able to carry more resources at once, so less darting back and forth across the entire park, and they'll be able to queue more tasks simultaneously. They'll be able to have multiple tasks ready to go all at once. So beyond update 12, what else is coming to Prehistoric Kingdom? These are planned for the next few updates, according to the devlog. So you're going to be able to train your staff to make them more efficient. Salary control for staff. If you give them a high salary, they'll be happy. They might put up with worse conditions, you know, maybe one of them gets eaten occasionally, but you know, you get paid a lot of money, so it's kind of the risk you take, you know. But if you give them a low salary, they may flat out decide to quit from your park. We've got a concept art of that salary screen here in action, so you can see on the left hand side the quality of your training programs for your specific different people. So you know, if you've got quite a chill park, maybe you don't want to worry too much about training up your security. Maybe something you'd have to worry about as you bring in more and more high level carnivores. On the right hand side you can see that you're setting the salary band as well for all of those people, so you can prioritize certain areas of your park more than others. There's going to be a little tactical gameplay there, a little bit of theory involved about where do we prioritize our staff upgrades and how much money do we give our staff at the start of the game and further in to keep them as happy as possible and to develop our park as well as possible. It's an interesting idea. Just another little added layer of depth to the management system, really. And very excitingly, of course, the ontogeny system is still being worked on. This is a huge undertaking. I think that much goes without saying. You know, every single creature in the game, it's not just dinosaurs, every creature in the game needs a baby morph and needs AI and locomotion and skins painted and all this kind of stuff. There's a ton of work needing to be done to bring this to life. That said, we did get an adorable new preview image of this ontogeny system. We've seen a few babies already. I think we saw the Brontosaurus in particular fairly recently. Now we've also got the Apatosaurus there. Now this is work in progress. The skin is probably going to change a little bit if nothing else, and the morph might change, blah, blah, blah. But they've said that this is pretty similar to how the dinosaurs are going to look. And isn't that heartbreakingly adorable? Mama Apatosaurus leaning down over them, maybe feeding them or just checking on them, making sure they're all okay, and the little babies inevitably squeaking away in the undergrowth. And we're just going to zoom in on this very happy chappy on the right hand side, having the time of his life there. And yeah, they're very, very cute. Of course, as we've seen, the babies will have, there's only going to be one skin for the babies, at least for now. And then that skin, as they grow up, will sort of meld and change and morph into the skin of their parents or whatever skin it is that they have. But you can see some ontological changes here between the dinosaurs. You see the bump on the babies, I would suggest, is a little bit taller in particular. And the neck, it hasn't quite thickened out to that full Apatosaurus thickness. Got a sickness for the thickness. Don't say that about dinosaurs though. Either way, the babies look adorable. Love every little preview we get of these little guys. Can't wait to see more of them. Cannot wait to have it in game. It's going to be just phenomenal for naturalistic feeling parks and for general cuteness. And finally, there is animal awareness updates being worked on that's going to allow animals to basically literally see and hear the surrounding areas. Now, that is more for future. That's like the groundwork for future updates more than anything else, because as soon as they can see and hear and recognize their surroundings, you know, whether that's decorations, walls, or in particular other animals, that kind of sets the groundwork for fleeing behaviors and chasing and hunting behaviors and breeding behaviors and fighting, and just every social-esque behavior you can possibly imagine will then spiral off from this animal awareness update that's currently being done. I know people are very, myself included, you know, impatient to get hold of that sort of behavior, because it's the thing that I think takes the animals that are stunning looking and it brings them to life fully when they've got that full suite of behaviors. But it's very complex stuff, and you know, it's about working on all facets of the game at once. So can't wait to see this come to fruition, but we'll have to wait a little bit longer. That's it from me. So we know what's coming in update 12. 3 new dinosaurs, bit of crossover there between the Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus, of course, and that spectacular looking Ankylosaurus. Can't wait to see some skins. I'm hoping there's some that maybe push the boat out a little bit more, and then you've got your more tame ones. I feel like Prehistoric Kingdom tends to straddle that line pretty well. Either way, the game is in tip-top shape, looking fantastic. Definitely a game I want to get back to playing. The streams were a bit iffy by the end, but you know, I love the idea of doing a campaign now, maybe with those increased management options in particular. We'll have to wait and see how things go. But either way, the game is looking phenomenal. Definitely go pick it up on Steam if you haven't already. You know, I know it's still early access, but it's getting better and better and better all the time. It's absolutely worth your time. Right, that's it from me. I'm going to go have a weekend. But I hope you all had a lovely time. We'll be back next week with more news about Jurassic World 4 Rebirth, some Jurassic World Evolution 3 tie-in stuff with that, and a couple other cheeky little things I've got planned. It's a busy time. A busy bee. Thank you so much for joining me. Throw me a like down below if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Cheers much as always. Bye bye.
Rainbow Road.